to get the job finished. And
sure.
So we know organizations that are part of the Better Business Bureau and NARI should not be showing up on those lists, but there are, for every good contractor that we have out there, every good home remodeler that's working there, we know that there are also those that are doing less than legitimate service. And so these organizations, your Better Business Bureau and NARI, are here to help you protect yourself from people like that are doing less than a legitimate business. We also, we've got storm chasers, and there have been, over the past several years, in the last 5 years, we've had quite a few storms here in the area that have caused businesses in your industry to locate here. Do either of you want to talk a little bit about the storm chaser concept and what these people are doing, and maybe some red flags that we should be aware of?
I'll start, then Peter can jump in anytime. But storm chasers are typically after a storm or significant instance. What happens is they come around and we can fix your roof. We can fix the driveway. We can do it relatively inexpensively. We need an answer now. High pressure sales tactics, usually at your door or over the phone. After an instance, they're going to tell you that all of your neighbors are doing it, that the insurance will pay for it right away. Typically those are red flags. Look for those cars when they pull up that have those magnetic signs out with non-local numbers. They don't have that 937 area code. Or 513, but you just have kind of that funny feeling that they showed up right after the storm, literally before you can even get the branches and everything cleaned up. And unfortunately, in most cases, they're here today, gone tomorrow. They do the work, and then when you need help or that warranty work or something just doesn't go right, you find that number's been disconnected or no one answers. So, and Pete can talk a little bit more about what happens on his end when he's trying to fix what the storm chasers do.
Well, very often what happens is these folks are here today, gone tomorrow. You might see out-of-state plates on their trucks, but very often you'll find that they use substandard materials. They use people who are not insured. They don't carry the right workers' compensation insurance. They don't carry unemployment insurance. They don't get permits because they're really not trying to be a valuable member of the community. And any good company that is in the Dayton area wants to be an asset to the community, and they want to serve those people that live in the Dayton area. And I'm not saying that all storm chasers are bad or will do a bad job, but you're better off trying to hire a local company whenever possible.
Okay. Speaking of this, about things that have gone wrong, I'm sure that both of you have some interesting stories about scams that have happened in your industry here locally or even on a national level that we may need to be aware of.
Storm chasers are a little bit of a scam in some areas, but also solicitations. There's a lot of people that will go door to door, solicit their services, whether they be for roofing, gutters, something like that. And unfortunately, they prey upon those, sometimes the elderly, sometimes those who may not know the difference or do have home repairs that are in need. They go up to homes that do have some disrepair and they need to fix those. And people are very eager to get the work done, and sometimes the price sounds pretty good. And unfortunately, a lot of times they'll ask for the money up front, like you mentioned, and that's first red flag. Always walk away from that situation, or at least call the BBB, call NARI, have that company checked out. But that's probably the biggest scam we've heard, is where they're going in and getting the money up front, and you'll never see them again. And it's very sad.
Peter, you got anything in the industry?
Really nothing specific, but I would like to add that most of the horror stories that I've heard of have been due to lack of communication, poor communication, poorly written contracts, where a homeowner will expect a certain level of service or a certain quality of material, and they don't wind up getting that. And it's usually due to bad communication or a poorly written contract.
Okay. Peter, your business is BBB accredited.
Yes.
Has an A+ rating with us. Can you tell us why being BBB accredited is so important to you and why you recommend it to consumers to look for that BBB seal?
Well, from a business standpoint, being in the remodeling industry, I look for any way that I can make my business exceptional in the eyes of consumers. So I've spent a great deal of time and tried to become BBB accredited, and also I hold a couple of certifications, professional certifications with NARI. Anything that I can do to set my business apart from just the everyday business that might show up on your street is very important to me. And from a conflict resolution standpoint, I'm a person who absolutely hates conflict. And so if I do wind up in a situation where I have a misunderstanding with a customer, I welcome the assistance of the BBB to help me resolve that conflict with the customer. So fortunately, I've never had to use the conflict resolution service, but it's there if I need it. So that's important to me as well.
All right, that's great. And we know at the Better Business Bureau, we've in your particular industry, we've got a lot of people that are using that service. We have quite a few companies that are F-rated in your industry that we need consumers to look out for. I think one of the best pieces of advice that we can give you from both of our organizations, especially in this industry, it is more important than ever to do your research. And we're here to help you find someone that you can enter into a business relationship with that's going to be worthwhile and productive. You know, you need to start with trust. Look for companies that are associated, accredited with your Better Business Bureau, and who hold certifications from NARI. So many times, and I know, Kim, you get this as well, sometimes people just turn to us after they've had a problem, and they call us and they find out that this company is not in good standings with NARI, and that they have an F rating with your Better Business Bureau. And so we really need people to do their research. We're a resource here for you to check out. Our staff are available to you to be able to give you some information to help you make good, solid decisions. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I would say just continue to do your research. If you find yourself in a situation, remember how important that contract is. The state does have a 3-day right to rescind. So if you get yourself in a situation as a homeowner and you have your doubts, rescind the contract, then do further research. I always tell them there's kind of a nice little protective clause in there as long as you're using a contract. And do your research. Visit both websites of the BBB and NARI. Visit websites of the companies you're using. And pay attention to all the little things. And most often, if you get a funny feeling, step aside, step back, and reevaluate.
Why don't you share with us the NARI webpage so that people can find it?
It's www.naridayton.org.
Okay. And if someone wants to call you, is that an option for them?
They sure can. They can call 937-222-NARI, which is 6274.
All right. Great. One of the things that we do, both at NARI and at the Better Business Bureau, is we love the opportunity to be able to get our businesses together, together with each other across the industries, but also just together to look for opportunities to work together, to open up those communication lines. And that's one of the great things about a partnership with NARI and a partnership with the Better Business Bureau, is that the Better Business Bureau is all-encompassing of any business here in the Miami Valley. And anyone who's wanting to do business is going to, at some point, need services of the men and women that are associated with your organization. And so networking is key to the services that we provide for our businesses. We're obviously always here for consumers to be able to check out businesses, those businesses that are standing with us for trust and ethics here in the marketplace, but we also have great networking opportunities.
We do.
And on our last show, Terene, you actually shared some of those networking opportunities.
I did.
And you did it so well. Why don't I go? Could you do it again?
I'm going to go ahead and do it again.
You are just a natural at this.
You keep saying that. All right. Well, indeed, we have a couple networking events that are coming up within the next couple months. Our first one's March 22nd, and that's going to be held at the Entrepreneur Center. And our networking events run from 5 to 7 p.m., so it gives our businesses a chance to get in, socialize, exchange business cards. We also usually provide refreshments and have our sponsors let them know, let the businesses know what they're all about and how that they can be used. So as I said, the first one's March 22nd at the Entrepreneur Center, downtown Dayton. Our next one's April 26th at the Rodriguez Financial Strategies, and I believe you said that was in Beaver Creek last show, didn't you?
We did.
Yeah. A couple other things that we're excited about. March 6th begins our National Consumer Protection Week, and this is a week where our national agencies and local organizations get together and just really try to put out information to protect the consumers, the community. We give out information on scams and prevention tips, and the last several years we've had a few events where we've gone to a lot of the senior organizations because unfortunately the seniors is a highly targeted area.
And I'm sure you all have networking opportunities as well, or events coming up. You want to share some of those?
We do. We have, most of our networking events are B2B type relationships with our members. And one of the things I want to point out is that we don't just have remodeling contractors. We have anybody associated with the remodeling industry. So some people tend to forget that they need a new fence, they need a new driveway or landscaping done. Those are all home improvement type projects, and they should always check those out with the BBB as well as NARI, so that's always important. But probably the next big thing for our consumers is Home Improvement Month is coming up. It's in May, and we try to have several consumer-oriented events during the month, and we want everybody to realize, plan your projects now so you can actually get them done during Home Improvement Month.
Okay. Peter, you're running your own business, and I'm sure you're taking advantage of these networking opportunities.
Sure.
But what's keeping you busy right now? What are some of the things that your business is working on right now?
We have we just have started a huge job for Wright State up in Salina. We're going to be remodeling the dining hall and kitchen up there, and so we do a significant amount of commercial work for people. We're finishing up a really nice kitchen in Troy for a residential customer, and we also have a nice window installation job that we're going to be doing. So we kind of tease ourselves that we specialize in not specializing, but it's really good that my carpenters can do darn near anything, and they really welcome the variety of the different types of jobs that I have for them.
Okay.
So.
Great.
Very busy.
Well, you two have been great guests. We certainly appreciate all of the information. Thank you for being here today. Terene does a wonderful job at, she's the opener, she's also the closer. It's not often that you have someone on staff that is so diverse, that's able to do all of these things. So, Terene, do you have anything to add? Any final thoughts?
Well, I think that it's important to get the word out because this time of year it's starting to get warm. Hopefully, we hope. Yeah. People are going to start their remodeling projects. And so we just want to make sure that they do the work before so that we don't hear about it after. And so I think that it's important that you all were here and can give out the tips and so that the community can know that your organizations exist and to definitely use them and us as a resource. Absolutely.
Why don't you go ahead and wrap up the show?
All right, well, that is our show, indeed. I'd like to thank you for joining us on the BBB Insider, and I'd also like to thank our guests, Peter Price, Kim Fantasi. Thank you so much. And, of course, our host with the most, John Norris. Thank you so much,
It's a pleasure being
John.
here next to you.
This
and
is
next
so
to you
nice.
this time. This was really nice
It
sitting
really
next
was.
to you.
I really appreciate
felt a
it.
connection.
I felt more
so.
comfortable
right,
with
this
you.
was much better. Thanks for watching,
Thank you.
and we'll see you soon.
See you next time.